The year is 1917, and Representative Oscar Callaway enters a disturbing statement into the U.S. Congressional Record. The statement reveals why J.P. Morgan interests hired 12 high-ranking news managers. The 12 were asked to determine the most influential newspapers in America. They were to figure out how many news organizations it would take to control generally the policy of the daily press of the United States. The 12 found it was only necessary to purchase the control of 25 of the greatest papers. An agreement was reached. The policy of the papers was bought, and an editor was placed at each paper to ensure that all published information was in keeping with the new policy. Soon, that policy would be defined by a front group formed by J.P. Morgan and his colleagues. In fact, Morgan's personal attorney was founding president of the organization, the Council on Foreign Relations. Today, the CFR maintains that its goal is to increase America's understanding of the world. However, the actual objective of this highly exclusive club is revealed by the rare admissions of the insiders themselves. In the early 60s, a Georgetown University professor collects information for a book favorable to the network of powerful men who founded the CFR. For 2 years, Professor Carroll Quigley is allowed to examine the confidential papers and secret records of this network. Quigley reveals that these men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire world. And the CFR is their most visible conduit for carrying out that agenda. CFR members include America's wealthiest tycoons, as well as the highly placed elite in government, academic institutions, tax-exempt foundations, and the establishment media. Ruling Class Journalists, written by Richard Harwood, describes the CFR membership as the ruling establishment in the United States. The Washington Post article boasted that news reporters who are CFR members do not merely analyze and interpret foreign policy for the United States, they help make it. Who are these policymakers? Many of their faces are familiar. NBC's Tom Brokaw, CBS's Dan Rather, ABC's Barbara Walters, Jim Lehrer of PBS, William F. Buckley of National Review, media mogul Rupert Murdoch, owner of the giant multifaceted News Corporation. These media heavyweights, and many others like them, are members of the CFR. Powerful corporations are also invited to become members. At the close of the 20th century, CFR influence presided over far-reaching consolidations of media control. In 1995, CFR members Michael Eisner of Disney and ABC's Thomas Murphy merged their media empires. Soon after the merger, the Disney-ABC empire becomes a CFR corporate member. In the year 2000, the world's largest internet service provider, America Online, joins forces with Time Warner, one of the world's largest news organizations. The CEOs favoring the move are CNN's Thomas Johnson and Time Warner's Gerald Levin, both CFR members. Once again, another media giant is created under the shadow of CFR influence. Today, an elite handful of individuals define the agendas that are supported by the empire of establishment news.
Don't be afraid anymore. It's time for liberals, conservatives, independents to join together as Americans and make your voice heard. They want you to be split down the middle. They want you not to agree on issues. They want you distracted. It's time to join together as one. Leading up to the Iraq War, the administration spent months scaring the American public into believing that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction.
We cannot wait for the final proof, the smoking gun, that could come in the form of a mushroom cloud.
Fear, scaring you, the citizen, constantly linking 9/11 and Iraq.
September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September.
It's been pretty well confirmed that he did go to Prague and he did meet with a senior official of the Iraqi intelligence service in Czechoslovakia last day.
September 11th. September.
It's been pretty well confirmed that he did go to Prague and he did meet with a senior official of the Iraqi intelligence service in Czechoslovakia last day.
In the past year, we've seen an escalated attempt by the administration to scare the American public into thinking Iran is a threat to our security. Look out for another false flag operation to distract the public, to convince the public we should go fight Iran. And if such event occurs, look to see if other mock drills were taking place during the same time. During the 9/11 attacks and the London bombings, similar exercises were going on the day of the attacks. Ask questions, demand answers, and ask yourself, who benefits? There is no interest in creating a stable environment in Iraq. The Pentagon has lost track of guns and ammunition. Where have they gone? Whose hands are they falling into? They want disorder and chaos as a distraction. Look for this conflict to go on for years. Look for us to keep bases in Iraq under the pretext of security and national interest. And ask yourself, who benefits?
Organize that. So what happened in 2005 was ExxonMobil achieved a record profit of $35 billion. Now, it almost seems like way too much money to even know what the hell it means. But we had an economist make an estimate for us that $7 billion of that $35 billion was simply because of the market conditions created by this war.
Under the pretext of security and fear of being attacked, look for the government to suspend your freedom of speech, your right to assemble, protection from illegal searches and seizures. Look for the government to ask you, law-abiding citizens, to turn in your guns, your right to bear arms. Look for them to establish martial law and have the army police the citizens. This is illegal.
Law ever become a reality in America? Some fear any nuclear, biological, or chemical attack on U.S. territory might trigger just that. And as KSLA News 12's Jeff Bell discovered, the clergy would help the government with potentially their biggest problem, us.
Remember, ask yourself, who benefits?
Or their biggest problem, us.
If you follow the markets, and you should, you will find increasing talk of housing foreclosures and banks calling in loans. Simply put, people who couldn't afford a loan foreclose, and the same people who built the houses buy back the houses for pennies on the dollar. When all is said and done, a small elite regain control of the property and start the cycle over again. This leads to a weaker dollar, the realization of a North American Union, and an overall global economy. Always ask yourself who benefits. The truth is, I hope I'm wrong. I look for the good in people. But now you know the warning signs, and the direction we're headed does not benefit us. Ask questions, demand answers.
We had some unique ideas that we wanted to share tonight about it. Yeah, well, the image is available on both of our sites, freedomfighterradio.net and uaff.us, and countless other places. You'll start seeing it. We want people to download the image, make your own stickers, print it up, upload it to your sites. We want to start seeing that, everywhere.